Okay. All right. I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna start then. Cool. All right. So let's get into Bitcoin analysis first. So if you saw the video from earlier today, you saw that I was basically saying, are we going to cross 11,000, right? And if the trend was moving at the way that we were predicting that it would cross 11,000, you look now, no surprise, it's at 11,000. And you know, I'm sorry if I sounded a little bit irritated earlier, but I was just getting these recommended these YouTube channels and YouTube videos from people, and it just seems like every single person that's new in the crypto space is, you know, has these videos that tells you what price Bitcoin will be or what price a certain cryptocurrency will be at exactly which date. And it's yeah, I mean, this morning I was a little bit disheartened. You know, it sucks that that I'm in a space that's flooded by people who are trying to just either, you know, get famous on YouTube or sell you something or grow without really knowing what they're doing in terms of cryptocurrency. So anyway, looking at Bitcoin, that aside, I don't want to spread negativity or get stuck on negative sentiment, but the cryptocurrency space sucks in general. I'll be the first to say that, especially on YouTube. There's only a few people that I really respect. One of you was asking me who do I watch in terms of cryptocurrency YouTubers. And really, there's only a few. So, and I've only been watching them recently, right? Like, it's not like I've been following anybody on crypto YouTube for a long time, but Crypto Bobby is one of them. Doug Polk I watch for the comedic factor, but he clearly doesn't really know much, and I don't think he purports to know much, but he doesn't really know much when it comes to technical analysis. Ivan on Tech is probably my favorite, without a doubt. He's probably my favorite YouTuber right now. Box mining is okay, but yeah, I mean, I think he knows his shit, but I don't know. He just puts out too much content. I can't keep up. But then the rest, like, I really don't watch anybody else, and most of the people in this space are just it's frustrating at times, especially when you have a channel that's you know, growing, and we started just a little over a month ago and whatnot. But yeah, all right, let's see who else is on the chat. This guy says Crypto Nick. Ty Lopez. I don't know about that, but okay. Crypto Lark, never heard of him. Oh, Andreas Antonopoulos. I mean, I would not consider that guy a crypto YouTuber. That guy is on another level. He is crypto, right? Like, he wrote the Bible on Bitcoin. So yeah, I freaking love Andreas Antonopoulos. Superman, I really only heard about him because Jay Lyon had mentioned him in a chat, but no, I don't watch him. I don't have anything against him. I've seen that you know, there were, I guess, a lot of videos going around that are criticizing him. Yeah, I don't. I don't really have an opinion on him. Besides, I find him pretty annoying when he talks. Data Dash, yeah, Data Dash has been around for a while. I have nothing to say about him. He's, you know, he's good. He's got good content. He's definitely not in the group that I was talking about that I consider bad actors. That's for sure. Peter Saddington, no, never heard of him. You know what? Actually, I forgot to send out a Discord about this. Give me 1 second. I completely forgot to send a Discord announcing this. Live stream. All right. Done. Silicone. Is that the guy with the crazy charts? I think that's the guy with the crazy charts. Yeah. All right. So let's get back to Bitcoin. So looking at the 1-day chart, this right here is the 200-day moving average. We're convincingly closing above it. This is the 100-day moving average, and now we are looking to close above it really quick. And I said that if we keep on this trajectory, we're going to hit 12K pretty soon, and it looks like we're almost around that, and that is the 0.382 Fibonacci level. And if you guys have any questions on technical analysis or whatever, just, you know, leave them in the chat, and I'll answer them as we go. So barring any kind of market pullback or any indication of a reversal, I think we're going to be testing these 12K levels. If there's an indication of a reversal, then we will assess at that point. But there's no, you know, when you see people talk about, oh yeah, Bitcoin is going to fall to 3K or fall to 2K, and there's really no rhyme or reason why. The market is fluid, right? You have to assess it as it goes along. And as of right now, looking at this, there isn't any indication to me, any clear indication of a reversal. Once that happens, then we will assess from there. But looking at the RSI here, we are clearly below the 70 mark. So there looks like there's still room to grow. If you take a look at the MACD, and for those of you guys that aren't familiar with the MACD is basically just made up of two moving averages, the 12 and the 26. You see them here. And it stands for moving average convergence divergence. So what you're looking for basically is, let me make these lines thicker. What you're looking for is for these two lines to intersect or converge, right? And for the smaller one, which is the blue one, the 12, to move up above the 26, as you see back here. And that's a sign of growth. So once you see them converge, meaning once they cross, and the blue one starts diverging away from the red one, then you know that there's growth coming. So that with the RSI, and there aren't really any bearish indicators that I see here, or even a sign of a trend reversal. As I said in my video, and as I said yesterday in the Discord, we are on the path to 12K and possibly beyond, until we see an indication of a reversal. All right. Let's go back to the chat. What are your thoughts about Tron? Oh yeah, and if there are any coins that you want me to look at, leave them in the chat and I will look at them. So Tron, I'll put that on the list. What else? Any other questions? How much you got invested in Bitcoin? I won't be going over that here. I talked about this before. Initially, I used to disclose my portfolio openly, but I have changed my tune on that. I don't think that it's conducive or productive, because what matters is the percentage of the distribution and to show you guys how to diversify, but not the dollar amount doesn't matter. Whether you have, you know, $100 or $100,000 or $1 million, what matters is proper trading techniques, diversification, and percentage distribution of your portfolio. So I will not be showing you how much I got invested in Bitcoin. So check please Neblio. So EOS, Neblio, Ripple, Tron, Verge. Okay. So let's start with Tron then. And here you can see this is Bitcoin Gold from the video that I had earlier. If you didn't see it, go check it out, talking about what we can expect for Bitcoin Private as a fork. And we will be talking about Bitcoin Private as well. So what was I checking? Oh yeah, Tron. Whoops. So TRX. All right. So this right here is the day chart. If we're looking for any trends here, you can clearly see Tron establishing the same trend as it did previously, except for with lower highs. So there really isn't any indication of, I guess, a bullish indication here. Not on the 1-day chart. Not yet, at least. If we take a look at the different intervals, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Yeah, I mean, if I was trading this just based off of the chart, I would wait for a signal before moving in. You know, I mean, you could make a play on Tron just because it is one of these low risk, high reward coins. And by that, I mean, if you look at where it's at right now, there really isn't a huge drop off between where it's at and the bottom, right? Because it's trading at, what is it, like 490 Satoshis right now. So if you buy right now and you set your stop loss. Oh, and that's another thing I'll show you. This is one thing that I've been going through with some of the Centurion patrons who I have one-on-one video sessions with, is to measure quickly from the price that you're at, measure how much you can make, so your profit potential, just by moving up in the graph, and how much you can lose by going down. And that way you could set your profit taking points and your stop losses. So if you go to this tool right here on the left in Coinigy, it's also available in TradingView if you don't have Coinigy, but you can go to price range, and it's this tool right here, and you can click where the price is currently. And if you move up and you look at the percentages, it will show you how much percent gain you can have. And if you went below, it will show you how much percent loss you have if it keeps going down. So what I typically do is, on a coin like this, where there isn't really a clear indication of where it might go just yet, you can set your stop loss. So if you use that price range tool, you click it, go down and say, you know, I'm willing to lose 15% max. You click here, this is 15.34%, which is at, what is this, at 414 Satoshis. So you would go into Binance and or whatever trading software that you use, and you would set 414 Satoshis as your stop loss, and you would buy Tron at this level and then just wait for it to increase. Again, barring any kind of pump and dump or concerted by like institutional investors or a group of investors coming in and pumping money into this, there really isn't any indication of trend that will signify that Tron is bound for a run. But there really isn't anything that says that Tron is bound for a decline either. It just looks like it's trading in this sideways pattern. You can even draw the trend lines. So you can draw support right around, resistance right around here. Let me make this a different color so you guys can see. And support right here. And it looks like it's just trading in this range. If it breaks out significantly, look for a confirmation before you make a purchase if you want. Look for confirmation either downwards or upwards. And it's really just a simple chart to read at this point. And there really aren't any major indications of any movement in either direction. So you could set your stop loss at -15, -10, -20, whatever it is that you're willing to risk. And this is a coin definitely to hold. Even if you're looking to day trade it or swing trade it, obviously let's look at the shorter term increments, like the 3-minute or 5-minute. They're just, and this right here, if you notice on a lot of coins, this is because of that Binance outage that happened. That's what this is right here. So yeah, I mean, even from a day trading perspective, it looks volatile, but in terms of percentage, let's see how much you set to gain. I mean, it's barely moving. It's barely moving like 5 to 7% in either direction on the short term. So it's, yeah, there isn't much volatility at this point to day trade it, and I don't think there is any indication, any clear indication of where it's heading. So you could buy it and sit on it. Just know that, that you might have to sit on it for a while. So, okay. Neblio is waiting. All right. Let's do that one. I haven't taken a look at that one in a while, so here we go. NEBL for you guys. All right. So looking at let's look at the 1 hour chart. So looking at the 1 hour chart, you almost have this cup and handle forming, but it didn't quite get there yet, right? On this end. It didn't quite make the bowl shape yet. So it looks like it was on a downtrend. And so if you draw it out, so it looked like it was kind of on this downward wedge pattern, followed by a little rally, and then now it's back down to the levels that it was at before. Yeah, in terms of a clear indication, the one thing that I can see, let's just pull up some other indicators. So I'm going to pull up the RSI. I am going to pull up the MACD. There really isn't a lot of volume at all. I mean, look at this. This looks like a barren desert wasteland. Like you can barely see any bars, any volume bars here. So the good indication as of late, so this was what, the last couple of days, you see this. Look at all this green volume right here. And then there was a lot of green volume in the past, not a lot of red. So whoever bought previously is holding on to it. And then there was this period of inactivity, right? And then you have this green over here. The RSI on the 1 hour chart looks to be hitting oversold levels. Let me make this darker. So the RSI looks to be in the hitting the oversold level. The MACD looks like it is just about getting ready to converge again and rise up. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's a play that you can make here. Again, I mean, oh shit, my bad. Again, I mean, just looking at it, if it's a project that you believe in, right, from a fundamental standpoint, if it's a project you believe in, and I feel like there are a few projects like this that are undervalued, right? So Icon being one of them, Neo being one of them, Wavi being one of them. I feel like they are undervalued at the moment. So if there's something other than a chart, the chart isn't everything, right? But it is a lot. However, it does not give you the entire picture. So if there's something besides the chart that you like to see, then if there's something besides the chart that you're seeing that you like, such as, you know, what the project is doing, the fundamentals of the project, you know, what their initiatives are, their development team, any updates to the code that they've made, then, I mean, of course, those are relevant things to trade on as well. It's not just the chart. But looking at the chart, yeah, I mean, there's something to be hopeful for. It's just that when it has hit the RSI, the oversold level on the RSI so many times without really any movement that, you know, you kind of lose hope when you do see it hit the RSI, the oversold RSI again. Usually when a coin or a stock or a security hits it this many times, you will see it coincide with some sort of rally here. But you don't see that, right? So it's oversold here, it's oversold here. It's oversold so many times without any coinciding movement upwards. But that could also be the volume, right? This is the first time that we see significant volume come here on NEBL. So that, you know, that could have triggered this little rally right here. And it could be, you know, a sign of things to come. There aren't many bullish indicators. But yeah, to me, it looks like one of these low risk, possibly high reward coins. In terms of the all-time high, it was, whoa. Okay. So it's like 195% from around 195% from where we are currently, right? If you look here, or almost 200% from where we are currently. So there is a lot of, potential. And those prices just hit back in January 10th, January 9th, January 10th. So it wasn't that long ago. So there is a lot of potential and low risk. And you'll see a lot of coins have this similar pattern right now in this post-crash phase, right? So I would set my stop loss, what, at maybe 20% just to cover this support line here. But again, that's subjective. It depends on your risk profile and what you're willing to lose. But yeah, you could make a play on it. It's just that there aren't many bullish indicators. Doesn't mean that it can't see a rally imminently, but there isn't anything on not anything, but there isn't much on the chart besides the volume, the RSI, and the MACD that would indicate a good buy right now. Because again, in the past, the MACD and the RSI hasn't really coincided with any real change in the chart or the direction upwards. Let me go back and check on the chat. All right. No one is talking a lot about Zcash. Can you share your opinion about it? I mean, it's a good payment coin. You know, if it's something that you want me to chart, let me know. Put it in the chat. But I mean, yeah, it's a decent payment coin. I think Z Classic is making more of a fuss right now because of the Bitcoin private. It's tied to the Bitcoin private fork. So I would you know, I would say that more attention is focused on Z Classic at the moment in terms of hype. If you want me to chart it, let me know. Let me see. Neo, please. Ripple, please. Okay, let's do Neo. Let's do Ripple. So here we go. Ripple first because more people have asked about that. All right. Okay, so here is the 1 hour chart for Ripple, and again, it looks it looks almost identical to the NEBL chart that we've seen before, as well as the other altcoins, right? Like, look at the RSI levels, look at the MACD, look at the sideways trading, right? So you had this this top right here, this you know, this single top followed by another single top, and it looks like it's just trading the same way. It forms a single top, moves sideways, forms another single top, moves sideways. Excuse me. So Ripple is the same way. Ripple is one that we did send out a trade alert only because of, not only because, but for the reasons of it is at this point low risk, high reward, and its fundamentals, right? Like every week Ripple's in the news signing with a new bank or a new customer or a new government. So there is a lot of a future for Ripple from a fundamental standpoint, regardless of what you think of it, you know, politically or ethically, because a lot of people say, you know, I only focus on decentralized coins. I don't want any coins that are centralized or work with banks or governments. But, you know, if crypto is going to enter into the mainstream, you will see that more often. You know, who's to say that somebody doesn't sign with, you know, that Bitcoin private doesn't get used in some bank and in some respect, along with any other cryptocurrency. So I get that sentiment that we want crypto to stay decentralized, and I understand it from a decentralized standpoint. But just because Ripple works with banks or governments does not mean it is sold out. Right. I do wish that they continue on their path of decentralization as they said they would, but just the mere fact that they work with banks doesn't mean that they're a bad project, right? So let's look at the 1 day chart for Ripple and see what we find. Yeah, so right now when you look at Ripple, you look at the RSI, we're kind of at the mid level that we were at before. Before this the rally, right? Before this rally here. But again, this rally coincided with that big rally that we saw during the holidays where every single altcoin and Bitcoin was up. But now that Bitcoin is moving up, and I said this in the past, I think altcoins will be slow to follow, right? So you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin moving with Bitcoin more or less, you know, some at the same rate, some at a faster rate. And then you have the altcoins that haven't followed yet. Let me go back to the chat, say what's up to some more of you guys. What's up, Crystal? What's up, Ryan? Welcome, Joe. Jonathan Scott James, can you do a chart on Redcoin? Is it dead? I don't know if it's dead. I'll do a chart on it maybe if more people ask about it. Greg Keenly, Ripple is not a scam coin. I don't own any. Great. Will Ripple, Crystal Williams, will Ripple be any more than $10 ever? Probably not. Well, I'll tell you this, for certain people, a lot of people in crypto thought that it would be $10 or even $100 by the end of the year. And that was before the crash, obviously. And when the crash happens, it kind of, when a crash happens, it kind of sets people's egos down and no longer, they're no longer hopeful about anything. It seems like the end of the world. $5 probably realistic by the end of 2018 if crypto keeps moving up like this. I mean, just think of where your mindset was a couple weeks ago, right? A lot of people were asking, are we ever going to recover? Is this the end of crypto? Is this the end of Bitcoin? It's just the psychology of crashes. For those of us who've been trading long enough, especially in stocks, when a crash happens, if you're not seasoned enough or haven't dealt with crashes enough and don't know why you're thinking the way you're thinking from a psychological standpoint, it could be something jarring, right? But yeah, I mean, for those of us that have traded long enough, that in a crash, that is it's like, when and excuse whoever gets offended by this, but it's like when you go to an adult establishment, right? Like a strip club, and you see like all these ones on the floor after everybody gets up and leaves, right? And the strippers, they're all gathering around collecting these ones. That's how I feel, right? I feel like a stripper when a crash happens, because I'm just like picking up all the coins that I can off the floor that people left behind, right? So and that's the mentality that you have to have during a crash. It is the best time to pick up coins off of the floor that people left behind. I mean, I was telling the people on the Discord, Bitcoin was at it hit like 5,900, and I picked up as much Bitcoin as I could at that time, right? I own a lot from previous purchases, but I was like 5,900. I got to pick that up ASAP. So I was picking up as much Bitcoin as possible. Anyway, I digress. That is just the mentality that you should have as traders during a crash is, learn your exit strategy. So I got out, not losing more than 15% because I sold all of my altcoins for 15%. Max 15% loss. And I just sat on the sidelines. And that's what, you guys have to learn that sitting on the sidelines is also a position, right? Cash is also a position. There's nothing wrong with that. Was sitting on the sidelines and waiting to jump in. And so the minute that I saw Bitcoin, go below 6K, of course I'm going to buy, as much Bitcoin as possible. Mason, love the crypto trader to stripper relationship. Yes, you can credit me for that one. Tim Schubert, no offense, but you would make an ugly stripper. Thank you. For how long do you expect BTC to be outpacing the altcoins? Thank you for your question, Ren. Again, I mean, that's hard to say, right? If we think back to last year, and let me just pull up coin market cap real quick, and I'll show you something that I've showed in previous videos, but maybe people who haven't been around crypto long enough haven't seen this. So if we just isolate it from 2017 to now, actually, wait a minute. Where was that chart? Hold on. I'm trying to show a market cap chart that compares Bitcoin to the rest of the market. I might have to do it by coin individually, so give me a second. Well, anyway, I thought there was a chart on CoinMarketCap that showed this really well. But if you go to any altcoin last year, right? So let's see. If you pick, I don't know, was ADA on Binance? Give me 1 second, guys. Bear with me. Oh, this is what I was showing you. So if you look at last year, right, during the summertime, it was the altcoin season, right? So if you look at any altcoin compared to Bitcoin, from the beginning of the year to the summertime, right? So you see this run up here. Almost every altcoin had the same trajectory, where from the beginning of the year to about, I would say, June, July was the basically altcoin season, right? And then Bitcoin took over the second half of the year and just shot up. So I don't know if we'll see the same thing this year. You know, I mean, that's the market is still really young. We've never had this many altcoins in the past, and we certainly haven't had this many exchanges and means of trading in and out of crypto. So I don't think that it will be the same parallel per se, identically. So in terms of how long will it take for the altcoins to catch up? Could be a couple weeks, could be a month. I don't know. But I will tell you this, that when you start seeing it happen, it will apply to most of the known altcoins, right? So the Trons, the Ripples, the Cardanos, those coins, the Neos, the Icons. When that happens, you will start seeing all the altcoins move up at once. So that's why I was saying, on some of the coins that we just looked at, that they're low risk, high reward. If you buy them now and hold on to them, you should be fine in the long run, as long as you set your stop losses. Free thinker, how do you sit on the side, Dust or BTC? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It really depends on what the market is doing at the time. So if either in BTC or even in cash, to be honest. I don't use Tether anymore. I used to recommend it. It's a damn shame what happened to Tether. But yeah, it's either BTC or, actually recently I've done Ethereum as well as cash. It really depends on the market, to be honest. Let me go back and read. Spooky Leaf, you're the boss. Much love for the live session. Thank you so much, Spooky Leaf. What ICOs are you waiting for to hit the exchanges? I talked about one that I was really excited for, which was the Telegram one, right? It's so funny because somebody had left a comment and said, are you being paid for the Telegram ICO? And I was like, dude, I spent just as much fucking time criticizing the thing as I did, talking about its viability or its potential. So no, I'm not being paid by Telegram. I wish I was being paid by Telegram, but if and when I ever do a promotion, right? If I ever do a promotion, be sure that there will be the utmost full disclosure ahead of time. I will never be doing a promotion for something or promote something without saying, hey guys, by the way, in full disclosure, I'm being sponsored by this company or being paid by this company. I would never do that. No, it was just, because I don't invest in ICOs at all. In reality, unless I know the development team personally, or I know the project personally, or somebody that's involved personally, I don't really invest in ICOs. And so when I saw the Telegram opportunity, just from a spectator standpoint, it's really interesting. And I think a genius move, as I said. So that is one ICO that I'm waiting for. And I honestly can't really name another one that I'm excited about. So, okay, let's see. You always said buy the fucking dips. Yes, BTFD. I'm going to get a shirt made. Shout out to Gunmetal, my merchandising partner. We haven't done anything officially, but we always talk about it. But BTFD, buy the fucking dips. That is the easiest way to make money in crypto. There's even a video of Warren Buffett floating out there saying, you know, they were asking him how do you make money in stocks or whatever, and he basically said BTFD in very polite words. Okay. Okay, let's see. Any views on Litecoin Cash Fork? Yes. Nishant Gunda, thank you for your question. I don't actually know why this fork is happening, right? And I agree with Charlie Lee to a certain extent, where he thinks that any fork that uses the core, right, the core product being like Litecoin or Bitcoin, any fork that uses the core's name is being deceptive. And I completely agree with that. Because, you know, they're just basically trying to ride on the success and the health of the core product. And Litecoin in and of itself seemed like a viable solution to some of Bitcoin's limitations, right? So I don't understand what Litecoin Cash brings to the table that Litecoin doesn't already do really well. Heck Mang, I would love another 6K dip. Not me, brother, not me or sister. I can't tell what you what you are by the name, but definitely not me. I did my duty. I did my due diligence. I bought on the fucking dip. I don't want another dip. If it does happen, buy the fucking dip so that people like you can stop wishing for a dip just so that you can go back and not buy anything. I'm just messing with you, but I see that a lot. You know, people wish for the dip, and then once we're in a dip, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to buy now in case it goes down." No, buy the fucking dip. And again, stagger your purchases, right? You might want to buy 20%. You know, if Bitcoin goes down to 7,000, right? You might want to put in 20% or 25% and then wait for a confirmation on which direction it will go. It goes down to 6,500, throw in another 25%. It goes down to 6,000, throw in another 25%. See, people like they hold on to their budget, and then they're looking at the chart and they're like, should I go in now? Should I go in now? Should I go in now? No, if you stagger or average out your purchases, then you have nothing to worry about, right? But if you're just waiting as if you're at the roulette table in Vegas and you're like, fuck, black or red, black or red, black or red, I don't know, and the ball's spinning and then you just throw your money and you get it wrong, you don't want to be that person, right? Like, set yourself up for winning, not for failure. Aaron Kimpton, I want to see your peacock. I don't know if that's a song or some inside reference, but I really don't know what you're doing, what that means. All right, let's go back to technical analysis. Actually, you know what? Let me go back. Let me just answer this question real quick by Joe. How do you feel about BTC? I think there might be a downtrend at 11.2K. You know what? Let's look at 11.2K, bro. Yes, we are currently at 11, almost 11.3. Okay. What downtrend do you see? You know, is it just something that you saw somebody talk about in one of these YouTube videos that I criticized earlier? Is it what? Is it an analysis that you saw on TradingView? Because look at the chart here. What tells you that there's a reversal on the way? You know, we can look at something less than 1 day. Look at the 1 hour chart, right? Look at this line right here. What here tells you that we're ready for a dip? Yes, it might start pulling back a little because we're oversold and the MACD is way up here and we've already converged a few times. But what tells you that there is a reversal on the way? If you mean that we're going to go from 11.2, you know, back down to these resistance levels at 10.8, or, you know, the support levels at 10.7, 10.6, 10.7, fine. But what tells you that we're gonna see a dip? I see, you know, comments like this all the time, and there's nothing to back it up. Obviously, you know you mentioned it on the chat, but you know I'd like to see you guys base the stuff on more than just a feeling, right? Like, is there any indicator? You know, I'm not saying that I'm the perfect trader, but I'm using the tools at my disposal. And if there's something that you see that I don't see, yeah, point it out. But just saying, you know, I feel like it might go down to 5,000 after it hits 11 just because it's a feeling I have. No, man, no. You need to explain why. Okay, let's see if there's any more comments. All right. The Peacock comment is a song and has a very funny parody video. It was a reference to you being a stripper. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Thank you. All right, so let's look at Icon. ICX. All right, so this is the one-day chart for Icon on Binance. Obviously, we have a little bit more data if we take a hit. I think this is hit BTC, the other exchange, but I mean, yeah, they're roughly the same chart as of late. Hit BTC just has a little bit more data. I think it goes back a couple more months than Binance does. But looking at Icon, let's pull up a moving average. And I'm going to do a 50-day since this is a fairly young security. And then let's do a 20-day as well. Right? We want as much information as possible. And you guys, I get this question all the time. How do you know which indicator to look at on which chart? And it's not so much that. I mean, obviously there's practice that comes with it, and just looking at charts for so long, over a number of years, you kind of get a feel for when you look at a chart, what indicators will give you what information. But there isn't any right or wrong. You're just trying to gather as much info as possible, right? Like you're trying to just acquire information that will point you in the right direction. That's it. That's really it. There are a few fundamentals that I use. So I'm always looking at the volume. RSI more or less is always pulled up. I'm always looking at some kind of moving average, whether it's the MACD or putting in my own moving averages or both. I look at retracement levels using the fib. And then it's just a mix of stuff from there on. So looking at Icon, this is one that I'm bullish on long term. Based on the development team and the project itself, but it's still in very baby stages. Like they haven't really delivered anything that's tangible, that they can show for the work that they're putting in. As soon as that happens, I think we'll start to see this grow, start to see this chart rise, as well as when the alts start catching up to Bitcoin. You guys forget sometimes maybe that a lot of these altcoins are charted against Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever you're using as your base currency. And if you look at Bitcoin, look at this. I mean, this is just an hour chart of Bitcoin, and it's on this, I'm not going to say parabolic, but it's on a really nice, sharp incline, right? So because these other altcoins are paired against Bitcoin, they can't keep up. They can't keep up. So that's why you'll see differences between the USD value and the Bitcoin value. And by the way, when this happens, what does that mean to the US dollar against Bitcoin, right? Because this is Bitcoin against the US dollar. It means the dollar is losing value against Bitcoin as Bitcoin goes up. And, and the inverse is true, that Bitcoin is gaining value on the US dollar as Bitcoin goes up. So that's why you might see the USD, the USD value of the coin, so like the USD value of Icon, be a lot different than Bitcoin when Bitcoin is on a parabolic rally or on a bear decline. So anyway, so this is the one-day chart for Icon. If we look at the 4-hour chart, going back to the one day, we could see that it fell below the 20-day moving average, right, which is this yellow line right here. And now it also fell below the 50-day moving average. Again, just like most of the other big alts that we saw, that we just recently took a look at, whether it's Tron or Ripple, I consider these to be low risk, high reward coins that are good for holding. Again, set your stop losses, because you don't want to eat too much loss, right, from this level. If you start going down, you can easily start burning money, right? Like from this level back to the level before the rally, this is minus 70%. So you don't want to eat that, right? I'm not saying that you can't sustain any losses. I usually set my stop loss at 10 or 15 or 20, depending on the coin. Right here is probably where I would set it for Icon, which is around 14%, 37,276 Satoshis. And then if it dips, if we just happen to go below this, then I'll buy back at these levels. But I'm not sticking or hodling with the coin, all the way down to the bottom. I will sell off and then buy back here if that ends up being the case. So just make sure that you're setting your exit strategies appropriately. I do think Icon is a good long-term hold. Again, a lot of these alts right now are going to look very, very, very similar. So, all right. Let's look at some of the other questions that you guys might have. How can I see the trade alerts? Sadak Ali, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Sign up to the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as the description of all the other videos, as well as in the Discord. Link is in the description. Just look for the Patreon. If you have trouble, hit me up on the Discord after this, and we will get you set up. All right. What else? We already looked at Tron, Shane. We already looked at Ripple. SVG. Okay. Let's look at XVG, which is Verge. Let's look at XVG. All right. And again, I mean, look at this chart. It's almost the same as the last one that we looked at, right? So there is a good indication here with Verge, right? That's a bit different than the last few alts that we looked at. So look at this right here, this volume bar, right? So this was kind of dormant for a long time, and then we have this big green volume bar here. Institutional buyers, I don't know, but nonetheless, it is a big green volume bar and no sell-off afterwards, meaning it was most likely not part of a pump and dump. Currently, it is trading above the 20-day EMA, which is the yellow line. It's trading above the 50-day EMA, which is the blue line. And this is for the first time since yesterday, right? Because yesterday we were still below both, and it closed above, and now it looks like we're closing above today. So this is when I would pull out a retracement. I want to know what direction are we possibly... Sorry, I'm going to go the other way because we're measuring from a decline back up. Okay. So right now we're currently at the 786 level, right? So in between the 1 and the 786 level. So we have a few more steps to go, which is a good sign, meaning we have growth. If you look at the RSI previously, when we had this massive rally, right? Look at the RSI, how much time it spent above 70 and even touching 100 a few times almost, right? So, and then, after that, we're kind of trading in this mid-range bound. So we still have a lot of growth on the RSI level. And then the MACD down here, again, let me make these lines a little thicker. Looks like it's about to, looks like it's crossed and the blue line is coming up. So actually, I would make a play on Verge at the moment, and I might buy more into it at this point, especially since we have now confirmed above these two EMAs, and the MACD looks like it's about to converge, and then the 12 is about to diverge away from the 26. Again, this is one where I would set a stop loss using the price range tool again. I'd probably put my stop loss so it doesn't trigger prematurely, maybe a little over 20%. So if I was trading, I would put my stop loss at 595 Satoshis. Opening position currently, since we're still at the 786 level, and then, use the next fib levels as your target, right? So you have the 786 right here, which is 854 Satoshis, right? You have the 618 level right here, which is at around 1,059 Satoshis, and then onwards and upwards. And if you want to look at what your profit potential is, right? This was on the way down. So if you want to look at what your profit potential is, to get to the 618 fib level, which is where we usually see a pullback from a trend reversal, either a pullback, consolidation, either a pullback or a consolidation from the trend, from the upwards trend pattern, right, at the 618 level, which is not a coincidence that it coincides with this previous resistance, right? That's why these ratios sometimes are called magic ratios, because they really coincide with a lot of events that we see on the chart. So the profit potential just to the 618 level is 38%, right? So I would not mind making a play on this based on the indicators that we see, setting my stop loss at a little over 20%. And, I'd probably take some profit here and then wait for it to rise to previous levels. But yeah, I mean, this chart is looking good. The pattern is almost the same as the previous alts we've seen, but these moving averages tell a little bit of a different story. All right, let's go back to the chat. GVT coin. Don't know much about it. I hope this is being recorded. My son just woke up and I'm on baby duty. See you in the Discord. All right, Mason, handle your business, man. Handle your business. Antonio Diggs, trade alerts are easily worth $10 a month. I appreciate your comment. I think so. but yeah, it's honestly a steal at that price. Thank you so much, Antonio. Hold your Verge crystal. It's going to go up. Based on the charts that we see, yes, I feel that as well. When? Again, I'm not one of these guys, these YouTubers that's going to tell you it's going to go up at this time, at this much exactly at this time. What else? Already bought more XVG. All right, that's good, Tim. The marketing on 31st of December was terrible, but it might be shaking it off now. Yes, and as the market gains health, I do expect other alts, especially ones that are well-known, like XVG, like Tron, like Ripple, I expect those to follow. Spooky Leaf. What exchange do you personally use? I use Binance mostly, KuCoin. If there are coins that aren't on Binance, I do have a Bittrex account where I basically I'm just holding Z Classic at the moment. But yeah. Thanks for your answer earlier. Do you think Litecoin will go up after LitePay is launched? I'm not sure if there's a link there, to be honest. We haven't seen as many we haven't seen, the Bitcoin forks are dime a dozen, right? We don't have really enough information on Litecoin, as much information on Litecoin as we do on Bitcoin, like what happens after the forks. Which exchanges allow you stop loss? Binance does. Most of them do at this point. Binance does. KuCoin does. I'm pretty sure Kraken does. Yeah. What do you think about Dragon Chain with the ex-Disney team behind it? I mean, I think that can only be a good thing, right? Here's the thing, like with crypto, there aren't many proven products. Right? We're still in the baby steps, and crypto within itself is evolving without putting out products. So, you have blockchain 1.0 and blockchain 2.0 and Telegram is talking about blockchain 3.0. Like these are evolving without really any products or services hitting the market. Now, obviously you can use things like Litecoin and Bitcoin today as payment, but I'm talking about blockchain projects, ones that are based around the entertainment industry, ones that are based around the financial industry. Like a lot of these projects are just concepts that really haven't been launched. So, having the ex-Disney team behind it, James, that can only mean a good thing, right? If you missed the high to take profits, would you still take or wait? Irv Donaldson, please write what which coin you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Kerr Okan, what made you decide to leave the stock market, get involved in crypto, and start doing these videos? Yeah, so I didn't leave the stock market. I mean, in terms of a job, yes. But that I did a long time ago, even before crypto was a thing. I still actively trade in stocks almost just as much as I trade in cryptos. yeah, in terms of leaving it as a job position, it's not a job environment that I really enjoyed. Let's just put it that way, right? I got into tech, and I enjoyed that a lot more than I did the traditional Wall Street finance stockbroker environment, for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, obviously the attire, but two, the ego surrounding that. I didn't really, it didn't gel with my personality type. And it just looked like there was a lot of politics that you had to play, and a lot of regulation in terms of testing and stuff that you had to go through in order to reach a certain level. And I felt like I can do a lot of that stuff on my own, without having to be involved in a an actual brokerage or within Wall Street itself. What made me get involved in crypto? I love the idea of a decentralized currency. That's first and foremost, right? It's the first time in my life, I'm in my mid-30s, and it's the first time in my life that I truly saw an opportunity for people to take advantage of their own destiny, their own financial destiny, without the involvement of banks and governments, etc. I love that idea. Two, I'm a tech nerd, right? Like, just the tech of blockchain was something that blew my mind away. It was as if we were revisiting the early days of the internet all over again, where you have this technology that's just so hard to conceive, right? And then three, the opportunity for money, right? If you look at the volatility of crypto charts, if you removed the name of the security, the coin or the stock from the chart, and you just showed me a chart, I can tell you almost always what's a crypto chart and what's a stock chart, just based on the volatility, right? And for day traders and swing traders, volatility is your friend. If you're holding long term, obviously you want to stay away from volatility. But if you're a day trader or swing trader, volatility is your friend. And so that is that's one of the reasons that I was so excited about crypto, besides the tech and all that, because it was, for me, an easy way to make money using already the tools that I knew from finance. All right, we're wrapping up. We're coming up on an hour here, so I'm about to wrap up. And then we'll continue to do these more regularly. For the gold crypto patrons and above, if you want to have a chat after this session, meet me on the Discord. I'll open up the chat room, and we can talk about any questions that you might have, any technical analysis questions that you might have, or any of the coins that we went over. All right, I'll do a few more questions, and then we will close this out, and we'll continue to do these more and more. And I appreciate your patience with me on this, because this is the first live stream, so I'm a little green in terms of doing the live stream versus a recorded video. So thank you so much for your patience. Do you think Bitcoin will go back again to 8,000 or 9,000? Yasmin, I already answered this. You might have not been on the live stream. There is no indication of such just yet. When there is, I will be sure to let you know, but there's nothing that indicates a trend reversal at the moment. All right. How do you manage to cover crypto when you travel to other countries with poor Wi-Fi? I tether off of my cellular. And then if I'm in a hotel where you can pay extra to get better Wi-Fi, I do that. But yeah, I was struggling with it. I was just in Mexico in December, and there was literally no Wi-Fi or cell anywhere. So sometimes, dude, you just got to close your fucking laptop and go and enjoy the beach. That's all I can tell you. Aaron Kimpton, thank you very much, mate. You have helped me immensely. Appreciate it. I appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you so much. All right, guys. That's it for the live stream. I want to keep it to an hour so that I don't exhaust you guys, as well as exhaust myself and maybe the people who are going to be catching this after the fact. I will definitely work on improving these. Yeah. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Dave Hebbs. Good first live stream. Looking forward to many more. Me too, brother. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace. Thank you for your support.